Dong. No, that's not me calling out for sexual partners like some sort of medieval witch doctor, but the sound of The Undertaker, one of the most revered and respected wrestlers in the entire business. His entrances are hair-raising, elaborate, and dripping with theatrics, and as Raw approaches its 25th anniversary, he's going to don the dark once more and grace us with his unholy presence. Whether this means that he'll wrestle once more is still up in the air, but it will be a pleasure to see him on our screens once more. So let's look back at his career and find the other times that this spooky lad done spooked us bad. With this in mind, I'm Jules of WhatCulture.com, and these are The Undertaker's 10 best WWE returns. But before we begin, bury your mouse on that subscribe button so that you can stay up to date on all our lists and other content, and why not come and visit me on the gaming channel if you feel the need for something different. Number 10. WrestleMania 20, 2004. Now, despite being the originator of the Buried Alive match, the dead man has bitten the dirt many times over. It was quite a clever tactic of writing Taker off the air for a few months so he could take a much-deserved break or revamp his character. After the 2003 Buried Alive match against little itty-bitty brother Kane, the American badass was put under and that facet of the character was killed. Returning as the classic Undertaker at WrestleMania 20, he took the fight back to his brother in a, well, it wasn't a bad match, but it wasn't great either. Still, the walk down to the ring with the Druids in the most popular guise of the dead man was a spectacle to behold. Number 9. SummerSlam 2009. Undertaker's return at SummerSlam 2009 was quite simply awesome, and not just because it set up his feud with CM Punk, one of his best late-game rivalries and a significant stepping stone for him, it was also because of the manner in which they did it. Punk had just retained his World Heavyweight Championship after a grueling tables, ladders and chairs match with the one and only Jeff Hardy, thereby cementing his position at the top of the SmackDown food chain. The charismatic enigma was strewn underneath his body, motionless, and then the arena went pitch black. When the lights came back on, Jeff's body had been replaced by Taker's, with Punk somehow none the wiser. The eruption from the crowd was utterly bananas, and as he sat up and leveled Punk with a chokeslam, the rest of the WWE was put on notice once more. Number 8. Hell in a Cell 2015. Some had feared that The Undertaker might have lost a little of his luster after his WrestleMania winning streak was ended at the hands of Brock Lesnar in 2014. Yet The Undertaker is a man with a plan, and when he chose to interfere with Lesnar's championship match against Seth Rollins at Battleground, there was little sign of slowing down. The Architect, the Beast, and the Dead Men. It was a sight to behold. Well, it would have been if Seth didn't properly f*** off through sheer fear, but that's not the point. This was just the prelude, and the matches between Brock and Taker dwarfed that of their WrestleMania spectacle when they clashed at Hell in a Cell 2015. Not in terms of drama, obviously, but definitely in terms of quality. Number 7. Royal Rumble 2006. The horse-drawn carriage, the beams of light spraying out from The Undertaker's fingertips, Kurt Angle's horrified and hilarious expressions. To many, this was the moment that the dead man jumped the shark. But however far-fetched the theatrics, this was among his more meaningful returns, even if he had, technically speaking, only been off our screens for about a month after finally ending his long-running feud with Randy Orton. But still, it was meaningful, mainly because it set up his No Way Out clash with Kurt Angle, which, alongside with those with Shawn Michaels, was one of Taker's all-time great pure wrestling matches. It might have been over the top, but the matches that came out of it were nothing short of top-notch. Number 6. Survivor Series 1996. Literally buried alive by Mankind at the eponymous In Your House the prior month, The Undertaker was in desperate need of a literal and figurative reinvention for their 1996 pay-per-view battle at November's Survivor Series. Decked out in leather and emerging from the Madison Square Garden's rafters dressed as a giant f***ing bat, the dead man was magnificently reanimated. And it went beyond pure spectacle too. Painted with prison tattoo tears and a washed-out new visage, Undertaker's refinement reached his in-ring style as well. Quicker and more dynamic in his efforts to finally take down his twisted rival, he took to chain wrestling, with Jim Ross excitedly drawing attention to a drop toe hold. It was so shocking to see him unleashing such skills. After beatings and betrayals, Mankind had, unlike any monster before him, humanized the Death Valley native. The rebirth would mark a brand new trajectory and ultimately lead to a WrestleMania WWE title win just 6 months later. Number 5. SummerSlam 1994. What's better than one Undertaker? Well, before you say two Undertakers, just remember that was the billing for SummerSlam 1994, and it was pretty naff. The return entrance for Taker, however, was anything but, as the dead man was preceded by Paul Bearer, who shone an urn into the crowd, adding to the hokey mysticism upon which the character is built. Then the original OG Creep E-Man decided to arrive, and the crowd didn't stop screaming until the bell sounded. This was legitimate. This was Undertaker. This was a response to fans noting that they would accept no substitutes, and it was pretty glorious. Number 4. WWE Raw 2012. You'd have been happy to see just about anyone interrupting a promo that involved John Laurinaitis, but we were especially grateful to see Undertaker walk down the entrance ramp during this episode of Monday Night Raw in 2012. Triple H had just uttered the words, "I put my personal business behind me." That's terrible, but that's what he said, which must have rattled Taker's tombstone because he appeared and descended to the ring with a silent fury of a man with more fight in him than we'd seen in the last couple of years. A Hell in a Cell match awaited the pair, and the build-up to this was as intense as their stare down in the ring. The crowd, captivated by this collision of giants, couldn't wait to see what was in store. All of this built without the dead man even uttering a single word. Number 3. WWE Raw 2014. Another Raw return, this time to set up a match between Brock and Taker at WrestleMania 30. You know, that WrestleMania, the combo breaker, the ouching, the "these aren't tears, I'm not crying, you're crying" moment. The build up to this sadness, though, was sublime. After Paul Heyman and Lesnar had berated the entire locker room as being unworthy to challenge the Beast, who should answer the call and prayers of many but the Undertaker, in garb reminiscent of those unholy ministry glory days. As Brock got agitated, he demanded that Taker sign the contract for their match, slamming a pen into the dead man's chest. Big mistake, as Marky Mark then takes the pen and buries it in Lesnar's hand, all before chokeslamming him through the table. It was a brilliant and brutal moment, and the hype going into WrestleMania was unbelievably real. Number 2. Judgment Day 2000. Undertaker must have done a lot of soul-searching during the months he took off between late 1999 and mid-2000, as he clearly decided that it was high time to drop the dead man shtick in favor of something a little more grounded. And by grounded, I mean that he became a flag-waving, leather-clad, all-American patriot who rode to the ring on a motorcycle to the sounds of Limp Bizkit songs. Subtle, it was not. But ye gods, was this a good return. Screaming to the ring on a bike, Taker launched into an assault on DX, the game, and the McMahons, clearing house as he went. This was the impact the Undertaker needed with this reinvention, and with this fire and steam, the American badass got off to a good, if a little cringy start. And number 1, Raw 1998. Now this was a fucking good return. Whenever Kane and The Undertaker got to each other's throats, you knew you were going to be in for theatrics, menace, and more rolling eyes than scoring a last-minute equalizer on Rocket League. That shit's good. Kane and Lurpak container Paul Bearer were in the ring touting the indestructible Kane, who was, to be fair, running ramshot through the WWE. When it seemed like no one would stand up to the Big Red Machine, the gong hit, and a coffin appeared at the top of the ramp. Taker had been off air for a long old while by this point, so when a bolt of lightning hit the casket and revealed the dead man, the crowd erupted. Then he cut a chilling promo on his brother, announcing that he would end Kane once and for all. The Big Red Machine tried to stop him from approaching the ring by setting the ramp on fire, but this did little to deter the dead man. "I will walk straight through the fires of hell to face you," he responded, and f*** me if that isn't one of the best moments we'd seen in absolutely ages. Hey guys, thanks for making it to the end of the video. Aren't you a star? Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe below, and also there's probably more content floating up above my head, so why not check that out as well? Could be a laugh. Probably. 6 out of 10.